Welcome to all the stations that just joined us on this Bay Bomber Roller Derby Network. It's the Bombers and the Jolters from Kezar Pavilion Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. The score is 23 for the Bombers and 24 for the Jolters. Both teams trying to score now. There goes the score for the Bombers on that play. Walt Harris and Bud Reeder up here to see and call the action, tell you about it. And that was Carol Meyer picking up 1 point for the Bombers on that last play. And over the rail here goes the Jolters skater as that play came to an end. That was Linda Johnson. And here's Tucker, and there's Saunders, and there's Ballo, and here we're going at it. Laying on the floor there, Kathy Pulliam, 31. Officials trying to keep control of this game. We had a wild first half. But that's roller derby. It's wild, it's rough, and it's exciting. That's why it's the greatest spectator sport in America today, because you can be close to the scene of the action when you come to a roller derby game. Not looking clear across the field and trying to see what's going on and needing field glasses. Right now you can see it. There it is. It's happening. Tucker trying to get at Saunders. An official keeping the fire on the track. It's Laszlo and Ballo and an official. They do have a tough job.
Well, let me interrupt one moment, if I may, and remind the fans, if you'd like a copy of the rules to understand the game better, you can get a free copy of the rules. Put your name, address, city, zip code, and the station on which you're watching roller derby. Put it all on a postcard and send it to Roller Derby Rules, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California, 94604. Do it today. Keep up with the game.
Facts being informed, play will get underway again. Might remind the people to join us on this Bay Bomber Network. There's going to be a big game on Saturday, May the 12th in Seattle at the Center Arena, and Sunday, May 13th, Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. So look for those big games up there in Seattle and Portland, and the Cow Palace in San Francisco, Friday, May 18th. Right now, we have two skaters in the pack and cut off. Rose Duran, who had the lead for the Jolters, she had two Bombers right manner, so she cut it off. We have the penalty box. It's crowded right now. That's why there's just three skaters on the track at the time from each team. Tucker and Laszlo in there, and the Saunders and Ballo in there for the Jolters. 24-24 is the score. Bombers did pick up a point on that last wild play. 4:10 to go here in the fifth period of action. You know, Bud, I think sometimes you ought to change the game of this to action game.
Yeah, you're probably right, Walt, because there is plenty of action. Now, you know, you mentioned the Seattle and Portland dates, and I think the fans up there should really make plans to attend because this is a new Bomber team. They see all of the real stars of the skate game, the O'Connells and the Boyds and the Gammons and the Laszlos. And as Charlie O'Connell has said many times recently, he's coming out different this year. They're a fighting club, and it's a different Bomber team and a good one.
Rose Duran taking charge here from Armida Ortiz to the Bombers on the jam. Duran has the lead. This gal's quite a jammer. He's a toughie out there. She runs into one now, and Carol Penis-Meyer, who's really rocking her out there. Little Carol wearing the pivot helmet, doing a fantastic job. I don't know how she got the pivot helmet, but she's got it. Here comes Ballo, though, to try and help out Duran, but Myers gets away from her. And there's Tucker in the block, and oh, down they go, and there goes Duran for one anyway, not by Tucker. Has whipped Ortiz, but she'll be cut off by Ballo. Duran still trying to score. She'll have to settle for one. Myers goes in there and dumps her. Two, they say. Two Jolter points. It must have been by Tucker over here. My angle didn't look like it. Well, that is 2 points in there for the Jolters, and they lead now 26-24. 26-24 is the score. 2:37 to go here in the fifth period of play. If you're watching in color, the Jolters are in the black and the blue, the Bombers in the orange and deep brown. Tony Roman out there to check with his wife, Carol Meyer, make sure she's all right. Good crowd here enjoying the action at Kezar in San Francisco. Good crowds everywhere. This game is skated, and it's skated in all the major arenas in the United States. Madison Square Garden, New York City. The Amphitheater in Chicago, New Haven Coliseum, New Nassau Coliseum, Seattle Center Arena, the Cow Palace in San Francisco, the Oakland Coliseum. Here we go. White Sox Park in Chicago, Shea Stadium. Saunders getting it from Carol Meyer, who's wearing that pivot helmet. No, Tucker with that pivot helmet. She just battered Saunders up in there. Again. From this new Bomber Club, and she showed you how to do it. And there's Saunders gets up and she's belted by Laszlo. And Tucker has got the pack, and there's Jan Ballo to block number 8. One of the most feared skaters in the league. Jan Ballo. There's Carol Peter back there talking to Tucker as he's trying to set up a play. To work here on Jan Vallow. 1:24 to go in the 5th period of play. A whip to Carroll. She puts a jump block on. Vallow to the infield. Here comes Tucker. Tucker goes flying. Oh, did she get by? I don't know. 1, 2, or 3 points. Officials will have to decide that. Did hit the infield too. That might take some of it out of it. And Saunders still working on her down there. Penalty on Saunders. Could be as many as 3 points in the play.
I think, Walt, we can pretty well say that Charlie's idea of being a fighting team has carried over pretty much to his gals team also, because they won't take anything from anybody. They're out there hustling all the time and skating a very rough and a very fast game.
Well, the score now on the scoreboard. Bombers 27 and the Jolters 6 is the Bombers' lead in this game. 20 seconds to go. They might get a jam underway. If they do, it will be tough scoring. The only jam that goes at full length, regardless of the time on the scoreboard, is the jam at the end of the first half, the jam at the end of the game. It goes the full 60 seconds, even the time runs out. Debbie Cho's out of there, but we only have 4 seconds. Watch the gals here where they settle some scores. And that is it. That is the end. Ooh, see, I told you they settled some scores. Rose Duran just found out. Here comes Tucker up on the rail and down on her. She got out of the way in time. That's the end. But not really the end. Look at the action. On the floor. And Rose Duran gets it. And Saunders is after Laszlo. And Debbie Cho is after Duran. Right on the head. Debbie Cho. Vallow now after Tony. Oh, man, these gals are ripping it apart now. Period is over. They're not worrying about penalties. They're just even the score. And here's it. Out in Saunders. Ooh. That is the... not yet. Not after Vallow. That still is the end of the 5th period of play. With the score, the Bombers 27 and the Jolters 26. Walt Harris here with Bud Wiener, and action resumes on the track as we move now into the 6th period of play. Score 27-26, the Bombers in front. Action coming your way in this Bay Bomber Roller Derby Network. JoJo Stafford to the outside, number 7. Moving here for the Jolters. Pete Boyd, 36, pivot skater for the Bombers, moving after him. And Cal Stevens moving on him. Big Cal Stevens, number 8. They've got Pete Boyd in the middle. Here comes Charlie O! Headlocks Cal Stevens. Boyd moves past him now. Hooks Stevens with a block and puts him down. Stafford getting in from O'Connell now. There they are. Charlie O, number 40. O'Connell blasting JoJo Stafford, number 7. Stafford stays up, though. Another block by Charlie O. Spins him into the pack. The lone jammer now is Pete Boyd, the moving wall. Moving here for the Bombers, 225 pounds. 230 in that neighborhood. This is a mighty big neighborhood. Pete Boyd moving, JoJo Stafford blocking on number 7. Remember, the only man in scoring position is Pete Boyd, the pivot skater for the Bombers, number 36. He just Stafford out of there for 1 point. Don't get in front of Pete Boyd, but he's got a head of steam up. Double block by Cattell and Cal Stevens. Here comes Stafford up from behind again. They've got Pete Boyd hooked in there. Stafford pounding with the knees and with the helmet. How about a penalty point in there? I see 1 point. Pete Boyd going after Stafford. Look out. I don't think Serena's going to be big enough to hold it now. 2 officials tackling Pete Boyd. O'Connell going after Stafford. O'Connell going after Stafford. Stafford's liable to leave the arena here in a moment. He goes up where he's got a little company in the persons of Cal Stevens and Jerry Cattell. They're going to chase Stafford right out of here before they're too long. There he is, number 7. There he was, number 7.
When you get Pete Boyd and Charlie O'Connell, Walt, you got something going.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised they chase him right out of here, you know?
It's very possible.
I don't understand 1 point in the play, though. He had already scored the 1 point when they put the illegal blocking on him. Less time had run out and they couldn't hear it above the roar of the crowd. Anyway, Pete Boyd did draw a penalty, or Stafford did. He's in the penalty box. 4 minutes for the Jolters out there, 5 for the Bombers. Alvin Mallory breaks loose on the jam for the Bombers, number 33. Jolters unable to get anybody out. Cattell looking for Sean Watson. Pushes him out of there. Watson on the jam, number 6. He's a husky guy, this Sean Watson. Mallory is just skating along. They're jockeying around in that pack for a position. Mallory shouting ahead. Cal Stevens behind the pack to block for the Jolters. 9:07 to go here in the 6th period of play. Second period in the last half. There's Cal Stevens a block. He hits Mallory. Spins him into the rail. Here comes Watson, number 6. Mallory waits for him. Puts a block on him. Puts another block on him. He goes down. Now Mallory try and score. O'Connell tried to move out. Cal Stevens couldn't do it. Here comes Watson again. O'Connell waits for Watson. There they are. Watch it now. O'Connell. There they are. O'Connell another block on Watson. Fantastic skating out there, these professional athletes. One, and that's it. Time runs out. Mr. Watson hits the deck. 28-26, the score remains here. 28-20, or 8:22 to go in the game. Tony Roman comes on the pack to jam. Also coming out there on the track, let's see, Bob Dansell for the Bombers. Going to be number 4, Bob Van Kampen for the Jolters, and it looks like Joe Stafford, number 7. Well, if he gets out of there and he catches up that pack and he meets Pete Boyd, he's going to be in trouble. There's the ice pack out. Mark Laszlo, I think it is. Must have got herself a shiner. That last period. Here's Cal Stevens blasting Dansell out of there, and it's big Cal on the jam. He takes care of Tony Roman. There's just too much size out there when this man starts to move. Cal Stevens, the big muscle man, moving here for the Jolters. Perhaps the strongest man in the league, the strongest man on skates today. I would not argue that point with him. You know, I had an army of guys with me. He is big and he is strong. Cal Stevens, number 8, who could have taken up professional football or boxing or anything else. He decided roller derby was his beat. And he's got a big man to contend with now, Pete Boyd. Boyd blasting away, 36. A moving wall, hitting the immovable object out there. O'Connell gets a shot in there. Now Pete Boyd sets himself. He takes a shot at Cal Stevens. Another one by Pete Boyd. O'Connell says, I want a shot. Let me have it. And he takes it. Tell you, you get bounced around like that, I don't care how big you are and how strong you are, something's got to give, and that time Cal Stevens gave.
Say, fans, if you're a roller derby fan and you'd like to have a game in your area, all you have to do, send a little note to Roller Derby Bookings, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. And if you have a high school gym or a college or an arena that seats more than 2,500 and you'd like to have a game in your area, write to Roller Derby Bookings, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. And since we've been talking about Shea Stadium, you know, roller derby plays very well in an outdoor arena, in a ballpark or a football field, so you might keep that in mind, too.
Oh, here we go. James Paul on the jam, 32 for the Bombers. Now with him on the jam, number 2 is Chris Rowe for the Jolters. Each team with a man out on the jam. Pete Boyd. Oh, Paul puts the roll right over the rail. That eliminated the Jolter threat. Now James Paul's getting it from Jerry Cattell, the blonde tiger, number 9. He's whipped again, and Cattell cuts him off again. Here comes Rowe again, and Pete Boyd takes care of him. There's a blocking. There's Jerry Cattell working on James Paul. Stevens goes back and dumps James Paul. He almost went behind him. He might have. I don't know. Officials have to call that one. Block in there by Stevens and Paul again. Rowe trying to get in there. He's cut off in there by Pete Boyd. Paul spins around him. He's hit by Stevens. Time runs out. That's it. It is 1-point Bombers. That's right. When Stevens went back that time, he went too far back and he was passed. And I think a penalty on Stevens' end for slugging. After the jam ended there, and he was a little unhappy about that call. Maybe he figures he's got a punch or two coming. But that'll put him in the penalty box for 1 minute. The score now, the Bombers 29 and the Jolters 26.
Well, you know, I've heard you say so many times on these programs that watching on television is great, but you really can't see it all unless you come out to the game. And, you know, this is the first time I've sat up from this position. When you're in the remote truck or in the control room, you're looking at the monitor, and you can't see everything that's going on. And you're right. And I can only bring this up to say to you fans, you got to get out to see a game if you really want to enjoy it. You know, we love to have you watching the TV, and we hope you keep watching, but come on out and see a game, because that's when you're going to get your real enjoyment.
You say I repeat myself?
Oh, I didn't say that. Well, you're trying to make a point.
Here we go. Tony Roman, Bob Dansell, and the Bond Tiger, Jerry Cattell, the Plymouth Skater, moving for the Jolters. They set up a double block, and he blasts through there. I tell you, when you're that big, these little guys got to be careful or you get run over. Jerry Cattell is on the loose here for the Jolters. Pointing to the crowd. I guess he's telling them how many points he's going to score. Well, let's see how he scores with Charlie O back there. Big boy, he could have planted a little bit tougher. In fact, he might not even try and score. Jerry Cattell and O'Connell. O'Connell blasted. There goes the helmet. O'Connell, Pete Boyd gets him this time. He really gets him. He's not going to let go. Hammers him again. O'Connell blasted. I'll tell you, with two big men like that, those Bombers are a new team. Another block in there by Pete Boyd. O'Connell with a block on Cattell. Meanwhile, Jim Cook and Dansell are making sure Cal Stevens is not get back there to help out Jerry Cattell. Oh, man. This is going to be a bad one point Cattell. But I don't even think he knows it right now. And you can see Cattell cock that right hand. You knew a penalty was coming, bud. 29-27. I'll tell you, this Bomber team, for the first time in years, have two big men on that track. Charlie O and the moving wall, Pete Boyd, and what a difference it makes to their attack.
They really worked Cattell over on that one. They were taking turns.
I forgot to check beforehand, Bud, but Jerry Menez is a trainer on the infield, but he's got a helper out there, I believe, tonight. I guess this series has been getting so rough that I figured it takes more than one man to handle the injured skaters. So here we go again. Breaking out of that pack, Larry Smith whipping out JoJo Stafford and Alvin Mallory going right behind him. O'Connell blasted by Cal Stevens. Jerry Cattell in the infield for repairs. Pete Boyd in there for a penalty. They're really blasting in that back. That was blasted with Mallory down and left JoJo Stafford jamming by himself for the Jolters. 1:35 to go here, and this is the sixth period of play. JoJo Stafford coming up on the back now. Charlie O'Connell back there to block. Pete Boyd back out of the penalty box on the track. I mean, I didn't see the Jolters draw a penalty in the last play. They just got blasted. He had to go in for repairs, not for penalty, yet they only have 4 men out there. Stafford now wishes he had a lot more because he's having trouble with Pete Boyd and O'Connell. There comes Mallory. But it backfired in there. There's 3 points for Stafford and the Jolters. He's getting out of there now. Stafford happy. Bombers tried one of the Jolter plays, and I guess it doesn't pay to try what some other team does unless you've rehearsed it well, and it backfired, and the Jolters scored 3 points and grabbed the lead over the Bombers 30-29 with 35 seconds to go here in the sixth period of play. Seconds to go. I don't think they'll get the pack organized for a jam. Good to see Gil Alasko back in the Bomber uniform where he spent so many great years. Gil, number 39. Great wife, Ann Bauer, was a great star with the Bombers for seasons, many seasons before she retired. Tony Roman on the loose for 2. No time. That's it. Time's over. That is the end of the sixth period of play. With the score, the Bombers look out. Here we go. Pete Boyd and Cal Stevens. Pete Boyd and Cal Stevens. They haven't landed any damaging punches yet, but they're trying. Officials get them apart. That's the end of the sixth period of play with the score. The Bombers 29 and the Jolters 30. Here we are, Walt Harris, Bud Wiener, that's Bud Wiener trackside at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Roller derby action coming your way. The Jolters and the Bombers. The Jolters, one of the wildest teams in roller derby league history, and they're meeting a team that's skating that kind of game with them, the Bombers. The new Bomber team on the loose. Armando Ortiz out there in the jam 36 for the Bombers, moving behind Rose Duran. And this Rose is quite a skater. 29-30, the Bombers trail by 1. This is the 7th period of play. Ortiz grabs the lead, but watch Rose Duran, number 4. They've got the pack, but there's Jan Bell with the big arm in front of Ortiz. Rose Duran looking for skating room, and Marge Laszlo's not going to let her have anything. She's going to give her a little elbow. Gallo on the rail, hitting Ortiz up there, and there's the Laszlo. Still blocking out Rose Duran. Duran can't find any skating room. She can't find any teammate to help her out right now either. Right up on top she goes down. Laszlo's going to put her right over the rail for that trouble. They're going to call a penalty, and Laszlo holding, and Duran jumped right on her back, and Laszlo had no choice. And there's Vallo dumping Ortiz, and Laszlo trying to get at Vallo. And there's Vallo again, down to the fallen Bomber skater, and here's Duran trying to get up, and Debbie Cho puts her back down. You see action all over the place. It's impossible to see it all. Even though our Phil Bender, our director, does a fantastic job. He told me so himself. That'll fix him. And at the other end, we got one going. Debbie Cho and Rosetta Saunders. Well, I think Saunders won that battle. Debbie Cho tackled a little too much that time. Saunders knows what it's all about out there. 31-30 is the score now. Each team picking up a point there. Penalties on blockers. 9:55 to go in the 7th period of play.
Well, I hope the fans have taken advantage of the Roller Derby Illustrated newspaper. It's the new Roller Derby newspaper, 24 issues. To get a free copy, you send your name to Roller Derby Illustrated, Box 17, GPO, New York, 10001. And it's a great publication because it gives you all of the happenings of the International Roller Derby League.
I mentioned Phil Bender, our very capable director. We also have heading our technical crew, Don Jackson, Al Nielsen in audio, our cameraman is John Anderson, Larry Landis, Ed Watkins, and our floor director is Stanley Potter. Koshu and Carol Meyer on the jam. Koshu in blocking position. Carol Meyer recovers now. She might get to the inside. Carol Meyer, 37. She gets inside. She puts a block, but Koshu goes right back to the inside. She's hammering Carol now. Down goes Carol Meyer, and away goes Francine Koshu, old French gal from Canada. Marge Laszlo back to the block, number 38 for the Bombers. Koshu comes up, and Laszlo gives her a couple of good elbows. Another elbow shot by Laszlo. Carol Meyer coming up again on the jam. His time's running short. Here's Vallo. Vallo slowing down Carol Meyer. Look at the blocks in there by this rugged Jan Vallo. It's a testimony to Carol that she even stays up. Tucker trying to move off Vallo. Vallo shoves her head, puts another block in Carol Meyer. Carol Meyer down. Laszlo gets away from Vallo's block. That's it. Time runs out. No score in the jam, but we had a lot of action. But there's always action in a roller derby game. 31-30 is now the score. The Jolters lead the Bombers. 8:15 to go here in the 7th period of play. Fast-moving game of roller derby. Skated in the International Roller Derby League. The greatest skaters in the world today on the bank track. Bar none. If you want to see the best, see these teams in action. There are no better.
You know, Walt, this Bomber team was down in Arizona last summer, and the commissioner's office and the schedule makers have scheduled some more games down there, August 31st and September 1. August 31st in Tucson, September 1st in Phoenix, and we hope all the fans in the Arizona area will make plans to attend those games. You'll be hearing more about it later on during the season, but make your plans now to attend those games.
I guess, Bud, we know why the Bombers are looking forward to going back down there. That's tremendous country down there. You spent several years, I think, in that area, and I was down there this season with the San Francisco Giants baseball team. The desert country is fantastic.
Beautiful country, just beautiful country, Walt. I hope to get to go back and do some advance work again this time.
Here we go. Jan Vallo out there controlling the head of the pack, and she gets her jammer out. Her jammer is number 9, Gail Byrne. Over here, we got Tucker talking to you. Jolters around. The official called time. And Tucker, I just looked over, and she had one Jolters skater up in the air and was giving her a body slam on the track. And she's still not satisfied. Saunders wants some of the action. And there's Ballo, and there's Carol Meyer. And here, man, we got it going again. Saunders pinned on the rail there, I think. No, she got out of there. Oh, they can't tug them apart. I wouldn't want to break up a fight between these gals.
Looks like they've gotten it broken up, Walt. But the gals are not. They're not quite finished yet.
Tell them about the mailing list, Bud.
Well,
while we're.
All right. I was just thinking, Walt. We've been talking about some games down in Arizona and up in the Northwest. If you fans want to be sure that you have all of the information of advanced games in your area, put your name on a postcard and send it to Roller Derby Mailing List, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California 94604, and you'll receive special advanced scheduling information on the roller derby games in your area.
But I also know about the Northwest.
Yeah, you've been up there too.
I've been born and raised up there. Spent all the great young years of my life in the Puget Sound area. Here we go. That's Rosetta Saunders on the jam, number 7, moving for the Jolters. Hasn't been any score in the last several minutes, but it's been a lot of excitement out there. The officials have had their hands full. O'Connell standing in the infield, keeping an eye on the action. He's told his team from now on, nobody gets out of line with the Bombers. We're going to hit them first. New philosophy by the new Bomber team. Laszlo back to the block, but there is Jan Vallow, number 8, to lead the charge for Rosetta Saunders, number 7. Marge Laszlo has her job cut out now. Let's see what's going to happen. He gets away and into the infield, across the infield, up on the rail goes Vallow. He's still going. Boy, you lose your control when you hit that infield. Nothing to grab, no way to stop, and away you go. You're on a runaway freight train. And that was Jan Vallow. They did not score. Saunders was unable to pick up a point. 31-30 is still the score. 4:25 to go in the 7th period. There's Laszlo finding one in the backside of Saunders. Look out, they've got her in the middle. Vallow with the jump block, and Laszlo battles back, and Tucker has Saunders, or Saunders has Tucker. I don't know who's got who, but they're going at it out here. These Spitfires breaking loose. Onto the infield goes Laszlo and Vallow, and as Laszlo goes down, spinning on his skates. Tucker through is after Saunders again. He's got it over here. There's Vallow getting in there. 2-on-1 now. Tucker caught in the middle. Man, these gals are something. Officials got to call the penalties. Glad I don't have to. 31-30 is the score. They'll count the skaters as they go to the penalty boxes. And I see Vallow giving away her pivot helmet. She's holding it up in the air there, waving it. She wants a skater to take it, so she's going to be out of action. Saunders is out of action. For the Bombers, it's Laszlo and Tucker. There's Bill Morrissey, part of Bill Morrissey. One of the more competent officials in the International Roller Derby League. It's a tough job, and he has been hurt many times officiating at a game. And he still comes back for more, so you got to say he's got the kind of courage that it takes to make a skating star. There's a lot of guts to play this game. Gets rough out there. On the jam now. Kathy Pulliam, 31, moving for the Bombers. And Pam Kaniva, number 6, for the Jolters. They're moving on the pack now, which consists of 4 skaters. 2:45 to go in this period. Another block in there by Francine Cochou on Kathy Pulliam. Carol Meyer doing the job on the bigger Pam Kaniva. Into the rail hard, Pulliam. Now Vallow on the track out of the penalty box to help out Kaniva. Moving on Carol. Carol gets away from the first block. Carol still slowing down. Kaniva gets away. Cut off the jam before the jammer grabbed the lead. Remember, only the lead jammer can cut off the play of the motion of the hands and the hips. And Kaniva spinning around off that block is going to be passed, so she cut off the jam to kill the Bomber threat before Pulliam went past her. 2:08 to go in this period, and it remains 31-30. The Jolters lead the Bombers by that one thin point.
That was a smart move, Walt. The Jolters or the Bombers had a chance to pick up some points there, and she called that jam off. I thought the pack got strung out so much that nobody could tell what was going on.
I sometimes wonder, but I guess on the track, you're closer to it, and you're the one that's skating, so you remember those things. But sometimes they do get around so often that that's why 3 officials are at this game. I guess I figured it gets so rough between these 2 clubs. It's the only way to keep control and to keep track of what's happening is to assign 3 officials. So sure, a little too much into that block went down, and it's Carol Peanuts Meyer on the jam for the Bombers. Carol Meyer and her husband, Tony Roman, certainly one of the most popular teams ever skate in the International Roller Derby League. Jan Vallow back to the block. The Bombers up front, slowing the pack down. There's Carroll in scoring position. There's Saunders 7, Vallow number 8. Little Carroll can't find any room in there. She's too big, but they won't give her any room at all. Tucker drops back to give her some help now. Neither one of these girls too big, but they make up for it in fight. They're looking for room now, talking things over, but they better make a move before time runs out on them. Look out, it's not... Hey! I think that worked for 2 officials who have to call it. Spinning around, and Vallow's going to get dizzy out there. Oh, man, what action. This gal's getting on the bank track. 2 points, and the Bombers grab the lead. It looked like Carroll was going down, but Tucker was able to keep her up and shove her through there like wheeling the wheelbarrow in the game we used to play when we were kids or something. 8 seconds left to go here in the 7th period of play, and that's not over yet. They've got Vallow on the rail. Tucker and Laszlo. Even with that face mask, they're pounding it. Carol Meyer gets up. She wants a shot in there. She's going to get it. She got it, and she gave it. And that is Vallow on the deck, and that is the end of the 7th period of play with a score. The Bay Area Bombers 32, the Jolters 31. Well, we got the men on the track finally, and the 8th period is getting underway. These gals are unbelievable. And Pete Boyd with a block. Grabs the lead on the jam, so Pete Boyd is moving now as he took out Bob Van Kampen of the Jolters. So the moving wall is moving. Pete Boyd, 225, 230 pounds. Remember, at the end of this game, I'm going to talk to Cal Stevens. So stay with us for that interview. Pete Boyd moving. He runs into Cal Stevens. Jerry Cattell back there. He puts an elbow into Pete Boyd. Hammers him in the knee now. Hits him with another elbow. Blonde Tiger says to Pete Boyd, you take your turn. But Charlie O'Connell's there to break that up. Let's see what happens. Charlie O leading the charge. Here's a whip. That's a big whip. I tell you, you whip this man, you go through a wall. He's hooked from behind by flying body scissors by Cal Stevens. Let's see what they say. He's moving again, but time runs out. It is 2 points Bombers. I guess the block by Stevens must have been legal or nobody saw it. They've brought new blocks into the league this year, I guarantee you. Bombers lead 34-31. Here we go. 34-31 the score. Jammers this time, Alvin Mallory, James Paul for the Bombers. It's going to be Sean Watson and JoJo Stafford, who's moving in the outside for the Jolters, number 7. Gil Orozco cuts him off and puts him back at the rear of the pack. James Paul is out of there for the Bombers. 60 seconds start to tick off. At the end of that 60 seconds, this jam will end. That's the rule of the game. And Cal Stevens breaks out. The big gun going here for his Jolter club. Cal Stevens chasing James Paul, who's skating for his life right now. Jerry Cattell, there's Pete Boyd back there to lead the charge, and they get there before Stevens catches Boyd. They're going to make it. Cattell in trouble. There's a point. The jam cut off by Paul. Pete Boyd blocking out Jerry Cattell. James Paul got up there, cut off the point, cut off the action before Cal Stevens could move in. 35-31 is the score. The Bombers lead the Jolters. He's on the rail over there. They'll Morrissey walks out and says, "How you doing there, man?" He's telling him he wants 2 or 3 minute penalties or something. Roman giving him the business right now. Tony Roman is a great needler out there. He's been needling Cattell up there. They both better rejoin the pack or they'll be called for stalling. 8:45 to go in the game. 35-31 the score. Orozco whipping out Bob Dansell, but breaking loose on the inside, Bob Van Kampen for the Jolters. Van Kampen coming up, and Dansell lets it go. Beautiful sidestep in there by Bob Dansell. He's all alone on the jam. Cal Stevens at the rear of the pack, along with JoJo Stafford to block. Stevens signaling to Cattell. They're talking things over. Cattell is going back to the block. He hammers Dansell. Hammers him again. Cattell looks like he enjoys hitting somebody, especially when they're smaller. Now it's Stafford. All 3 men taking turns on Bob Dansell. Now 2 men on him. And Cattell coming back again. There he goes. 1 point, a penalty of Cattell, but they battered a bomber jammer. Makes the score now 36-31. It will be when this jam ends. Here's Roman up here now. Stevens hits him to the block. He goes down. 1. That's it. Time runs out. Connell threw a block at Stevens. It didn't take. Roman goes down just at the bank turn. 36-31 to score off that 1 point.
You know, Walt, we've been talking all along in these telecasts about these skaters, and the Bomber Training School turns these skaters out. It's located at 631 Buena Vista in Alameda, here in California. It's open nights from 7 to 10, Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 5, and there are special classes for beginning, intermediate, advanced students. Classes are conducted by Buddy Atkins and Sr. You know, if you've got the talent, you could be assigned to a minor league team. For information, call area code 415-521-5700.
Action on the bank track. JoJo Stafford in the jam. Alvin Mallory moving right along with him, and there goes Mallory. He stays up, loses a little ground. Stafford moving behind Big Cal Stevens, moving on Pete Boyd now. There's Stevens moving on Boyd, hits him. And there's Stafford. I think he's got room. He's got points. He cut it off. I think Mallory got in there. Mallory tried to sneak in there for points too, but officials say Stafford cut it off in time. 4 points in there for Mr. Joe Stafford. Charge led by Cal Stevens for the Jolters. Makes the score now 36-35. This series stands at 3 games for the Bombers and 2 for the Jolters. 36-35 the score. The Bombers lead by 1. 6:10 to go in the game. There's Stafford, the man that scored those points. He's on the rail for this brief rest. He's allowed a brief rest. Goes to the rail for that 1 lap, and he must rejoin the pack. He's too valuable to the Jolters to let him go to the infield for a rest. He just switches from a jammer's helmet to a blocker's helmet. Here's Dynamite Tony Roman on the move. Larry Smith out with him. Pete Boyd going out, too. Chasing Pete Boyd and Bob Van Kampen. I bet he hopes he doesn't catch Pete Boyd. Roman dumped in there by Smith. Pete Boyd after 2 men. Look out, he hits one, he hits the other. Smith over the rail, Van Kampen down on the edge of the track. The moving wall, Pete Boyd hammering away again. Meant a lot to this Bomber team. Pete Boyd coming up, back to the block, Cal Stevens. Stevens goes down, but he gets up so Boyd can't get around him. Jerry Cattell back there, number 9. O'Connell trying to get back to help out. They're a long ways behind that pack. I wonder where that 20-foot rule applies. Look out! Look out! Take the whole Jolter club and run it out in the street. Boy, did they scatter.
They scattered. I guess that's what you could call don't mess with me, man. Don't mess.
Oh, man.
That Boyd is big. Oh, he's a big man.
He could have taken that stick and gone out and chased a grizzly bear.
Yeah, I guess he is one of those that could go hunting grizzly with a switch.
Boy, those Jolters are moving faster than they moved in this game tonight.
Yeah.
And they've been moving fast in the game.
And I don't blame them, not one bit.
Stafford's in the penalty box. Score is 37-35. The Bombers picked up a point on that penalty. Pete Boyd is telling them on the track, when you get back out here, maybe you better stay in that penalty box. We have two Bombers out in the middle. Larry Smith, and he's taken care of by James Paul and Alvin Mallory. At the rear of the pack, they've got the muscle man, Cal Stevens. 2 points. O'Connell, Jim Cook. Dave Boyd really worked him over. He wants to know where his help was. He didn't have any. Bombers picked up 39-35 the score. Let's see if Stafford comes back on the track with his penalty time is up.
Well, I can liken that to the goalie with no defenseman there because he had absolutely no help and he was pinned.
Let's watch Stafford in that penalty box. He's coming on the track. He's in there now. They're in the back. They got Cattell this time. Boyd, Cook, and O'Connell. I hope everything's legal. They're really working over Jerry Cattell. Here come the two Bomber Jammers. 2 more points. The Bombers retiming Cal Stevens, and this time Jerry Cattell. The crowd is roaring here in San Francisco. 41-35 is the score. 2:20 to go in the game as the Bombers are trying to put this one away.
You just wonder when the Jolters are going to catch on to that strategy. The Bombers are blocking the big man, and the little boys are going through for the points. I would think in these next couple of jams, Walt, the Jolters are going to have to do something to counteract that.
Well, he gets so used to the big man at the rear of the pack taking care of himself that you're moving out there and you don't look back. Well, man,
right.
This kind of attack, you're in trouble. And the Bombers get 2 men out again. And they've got Saunders, but Boyd has him by himself now. Cook goes in there. And they're working over Joe Stafford. Stafford getting it from Boyd and Cook. Here's O'Connell. Both these. And 2 more points and it's legal. It is legal. Mr. Stafford is on the deck. Everybody's standing and screaming here. These Bombers are working them over one at a time. 43-35 is the score. Minute 25 to go.
Well, that's the action you'll see, and I hope you'll get out to see a game when it comes to your area. It's exciting. It's excitement all over the bank track.
Minute 10 to go, and again the Bombers with a good lead here now. Looks like they put this one in the bank. They'll give them a 4-2 edge in the series. And yelling, go, 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 they want more. They just might get more. Stevens tries to get out and Logan goes by him. We got 4 Jammers moving on the play. Conlon Boyd talking things over at the rear of the pack. 4 Jammers moving. Roman up front. Roman might cut this off. There they take care. They're not going to cut it off. They're going to score more. Try to. They're moving on the muscle man, Cal Stevens. Donald signals to the back there. He tells Roman to drop back and block out. The man coming up, Bob Van Kampen, which he does nicely. And O'Connell takes care of Smith, puts him on the rail. Danzel and Roman trying to score, and Cal Stevens now. 18 seconds left in the game. They both lost their helmets. Stevens bounces them around back there. Pete Boyd clobbers Stevens. 2 more points. They're moving for more. 2 more there. Over 4, 5, 6. I believe 6. It is 6 Bomber points on the play. That is the end of the game. A rousing victory here for the Bay Area Bombers. They came smashing in that 4th period of play. So the score here, as we come to a tremendous finish, the Bombers really working over this Jolter club. Well, they walked off with a rather easy victory on the scoreboard with the way they skated this final period of play. That gives them an edge in the series, 4 games to 2. Remember, I'm going to talk to Cal Stevens in just a moment. The final score here is 49 for the Bombers and 35 for the Jolters. Well, they don't come any bigger and they don't come any stronger than Cal Stevens, and I'm glad I'm not on skates against a man like this, and I don't envy anybody that has to get out there on the track against Cal Stevens. Cal, your Jolter club is a wild and rough team. It's always been that way. Do you like it that way?
Yes, that's the way I want them to skate. That's the only way to skate now. You have to be aggressive and you have to be rough.
See, that's the only way you can win in the league now?
That's the only way. You can't skate clean no more. That's out. You have to be every man for themselves. And I got my team where just start banging heads.
In other words, when you go into Madison Square Garden, New York City, and you skate against the New York Chiefs, they skate that way at home?
Yeah.
The fans cheer for them. They overlook the fact that the Chiefs are skating rough. Is that it?
They overlook it because, well, they're for their home team. They quite naturally want to see their home team win. So when they get a little rough, we get a little rougher. I get my team up and we get a little rougher.
Is it the same thing in Chicago, say at the amphitheater against the Pioneers and Ronnie Robinson, Joan Weston, and Nick Skopas?
It's the same thing. Robinson and Weston, they get a little out of hand now and then, so I have to get my team, and we have to kind of put them back in line a little bit here.
Now you got a series against the Bombers here in San Francisco, and I guess it's the same story all over again for the Jolters.
The same story. I mean, it's a vicious circle, but these Bombers they seem to be a little more aggressive than the rest of the teams, and we seem to find it a little harder to get it down with them, but I'm sure we will. My team we're getting up there now.
Cal, when you take your team in all these different towns where the fans get on you, regardless of the type of game you're skating and the type their team is skating, what's the toughest crowd to skate in front? New York, Chicago, or where?
Well, I think the toughest crowd to skate for is the Chicago crowd.
Fans are pretty violent back there?
Yeah, the fans are very rough back there. They're really for the Pioneers all the way, and if you mess up with the Pioneers, you get messed with too. But
if you shake hands with the Pioneer, you're in trouble. Huh?
Yeah, that's that type of thing. But it doesn't really faze the team any. I mean, we go out and still do what we have to do, to win the game.
In a case like this, would you do something a little extra just to irritate the crowd?
Yeah, I would.
You give it back to them.
Yeah, I'd give it right back to them. They want to boo me, I'll give them something to boo me about.
Do you have any trouble leaving the arena in Chicago?
Yes, I do. I have quite a bit of trouble sometimes leaving the arena.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, it gets pretty rough sometimes.
Cal, you're big enough to take care of yourself in any kind of crowd. Thanks very much for talking with us.
Thank you, Walt.
Cal Stevens. Go ahead, Cal. Cal, one of the biggest, toughest guys in this league, and he can throw his weight around on that track with the best of them. Jolters are a wild skating team, but all the teams are, so get out and see the next live game in your area. You'll enjoy the action that you see in a roller derby game. The greatest spectator sport in America today. There's action all the time on the bank track, and we had plenty here in San Francisco. The final score was the Bay Area Bombers 49 and the Jolters 35. This is Walt Harris speaking from Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco.